Good evening, viewers, and I hope you had a pleasant Republic Day, one that was safe and memorable for you. Tonight on Calypso Showcase, we're going to be featuring the Watchman, Wayne Haid. And Wayne Haid, as you know, burst on the scene in 1988. He immediately established himself as a force to be reckoned with when he won the Independence Monarch title in that year. This year he placed second to Crow in the Independence competition again. He's been in the finals on 2 occasions. He was second in the Young Kings, and he also won 2 Nafita Awards for being the best 10th calypsonian. Wayne, welcome to Calypso Showcase.
Thank you, Alvin.
And I want to start on that point about your winning the 2 Nafita Awards. How important was it for you winning 2 Nafita Awards?
Well, in the first Nafita, it was totally unexpected because I didn't know anything about the Nafita. Remember, that was I think it was the first or the second year of the Nafita Awards. But I think I won because Airborne One, that's the song I did that year, kept me on the stage for over half an hour for every performance. And I think those who conceptualized this show in the Nafita Awards felt that it should be given to a calypsonian who was able to command the audience in a song without a particular style. And that is what Airborne One did. The second one, when I found out that that was what was happening, I decided, well, okay, the formula seemed to be working well, so I did Positive Vibrations the other year. And fortunately, I have the ability to make new verses. I can do a new verse now and sing it 5 minutes later, and that helps because I can do a new verse all the time and keep adding to the calypso. And I think it was very important for me to win the Nafita because there was no other category for me. Being an unrecorded artist at the time, I couldn't win any political, even though I think I had some of the best political commentary and social commentary. I couldn't win because it was unrecorded, so therefore the radio stations were not playing it, in addition to which, of course, Positive Vibrations was banned, and still is, I understand. And as a result, the only thing I could have won was the Nafita for Best 10 Calypso.
And the Best 10 Calypso, you know, winning something like that, in terms of your preparation, your style, and let's say getting that audience to call you back several times, how do you prepare for something like that?
Well, I prepare my songs from punchlines up. I write from the bottom up rather than from the top down. So it helps in that once I hook onto an idea and I write one verse, the others come easy. And once I hook onto several punchlines, then I can go on and on forever. As a matter of fact, with Airborne One, I had to stop writing verses, just as with Attack with Full Force, because if I had continued, I don't think there was any chance of any other artist performing on the night. That is not to be vain, but once I have that ability, you can do it, and it goes on and on.
Well, just yesterday you were in the news with the Police Association. I can't remember the entire name, but perhaps you can give me the name of that association.
That is the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service 2nd Division Social and Welfare Association.
And what exactly is it, and what's your involvement in it? Well,
police officers for a number of years have felt that the present association that exists, that is supposed to bargain for police officers, have not been given them their just due. And the simple little things like we asked to see the books as required by law, their rules, and the Police Service Act 4 schedule, and we were refused. And members took it very bad. And they felt that it was time for us to do something about it. And we formed ourselves into an organization, and I was elected interim president until the constitutional elections later on in the year. At the present moment, we are really the force to be reckoned with, because we have about 2,000 members and it's growing daily, whereas the other association would not have any members left very soon.
Okay, well, Watchman, our show tonight is going to be a sort of 2-part show. We have a pre-recorded interview with Watchman with some video inserts, and then in the second half of the show, we're going to be inviting you, the audience, to call in and talk to Watchman, ask him a question, if you just want to make a comment. We would like you to keep your questions as short as possible to give other viewers who are trying to get in a chance to have their say. But first of all, here is the first part. We have it a two-part video on Watchman. The Watchman, Wayne Head, calypsonian and policeman. Wayne, welcome to Calypso Showcase. And many people know you for what you are, a calypsonian with biting lyrics, strong convictions. Few know you as a policeman, but they're able to see you in your garb today. Tell us, what is life like as a policeman and a calypsonian?
Well, as a policeman, you know, I have to ensure that law and order is kept. And one of the reasons why a lot of people don't know I'm a policeman is because I try to keep that part of my life out of my calypso and vice versa. So on the job, I try to be as professional as possible in the job I do. And people must, you know, sometimes people are unaware that I'm the same Watchman that they see on stage. It's only when someone else tells them, you know, that is a Watchman, they know. Because I try to separate the two things. It's possible, I think, for me to wear more than one hat, you know, and to be professional about it. As a calypsonian, of course, you know, I feel I have a role to play in terms of social and political commentary. And I play that role. And in order to keep this separation, with this separation, I'm allowed to do things that seem contradictory to some people.
How long have you been a policeman?
Well, approximately 16 and a half years. I've been a policeman since I crossed the age of 18. As a matter of fact, I think I was the youngest man in the service when I joined at the time.
How long have you been assigned to this station?
Just since after the carnival season, after I came back from vacation from the carnival, you can see it's a very beautiful new place. It's very, very nice. And I think that if all stations are like this, motivation amongst police officers to work, you know, because your environment sometimes determines your attitude. And I think that if all the stations are like this, the output will be greater.
All right, let's talk about your calypso. You entered into the calypso arena in 1988 as far as the public knows. But how long have you been associated with calypso, and what sort of efforts did you have before 1988?
Well, for years I collect records. And I was a DJ, for in case some people didn't know. And I collected records, including calypso, particularly calypso, over the years. And I know calypsonians, I could sing most of the calypsos by heart. I learned over the years. And I always felt that I could sing calypso. I would go to tents and I would sit down with my girlfriend. I would criticize people and say, you know, to her and say, I could do better than he did, and, you know. And one day, well, fortunately and unfortunately, I was suspended from the service because of an incident that happened when I was president of the guild at university. It was nothing related to the job, and I felt I was victimized in that instance. But the fortunate thing was that when they put me on half pay, you know, and you have a family to mind, and you have a degree to complete, and I'm sitting at home wondering what is going to happen with this half pay and myself, and lo and behold, on television, there's this competition for the independence.
We know the leaders go take offense, but we come to make a defense for all them UWI students who Robbie say march without any sense. But since we have been in that institution, we have come to the big conclusion that we really ain't have a thing to gain if we only using we brain. Because the bomb say it have a young lady who get a degree right there in UWI, and a big walk after she leave her that by lying flat on she back. That's a fact. And then they say some fellas with PhDs, if they're not harassing the young ladies, they inviting all of the nice young men to come home and sleep by them. So until them damn lecturers stop behaving like the old slave masters, we want Mr. Robinson to know that we brain tie under we toe. These boots are made for walking, but if they get with vex, these boots will march on teachers who give degrees for some pampala. Degrees for some pampala.
During that time, as president of the guild at university, there was an issue where the government wanted to impose a cess on students to enter university. And we felt at the time, and I think we still do, that will impact negatively on the people in the country, from the lower classes who would be denied an opportunity to get an education, because with the increased cost, it will mean that automatically some people will be knocked out, despite how good they are academically. So we took the issue up, and we had a series of marches and so on to protest against the issue, legal and lawful marches. Unfortunately, the Prime Minister did not take too kindly to it. And at a school in Tobago, a primary school, he made the point that the university was a place to use your brain and not your feet. So you should be studying rather than marching, which was a contradiction to his own teachings in his book, The Caribbean Man, where he made a point that any leader who doesn't understand the question of student protest and student involvement cannot be, basically a very good leader. So we took his book and took excerpts from his speeches that he made, one at Milner Hall on campus. And then the idea came to me about this Calypso, boots and brains.
These boots are made for walking, and see how well they fit. They're also known for kicking ministers who talking. Them who talking.
Before that time, I only did 2 calypsos at the university. I wrote a calypso in a day and entered a competition there and won. So I always felt I could do a good calypso, and that was my first calypso at all. And then the competition came. And on TV I saw it, and I didn't even have a name. I didn't know what to call myself. And another night I saw a program with Shorty and the Family Circle, and I can always say thanks to Shorty for that. They were doing a song called The Watchman on the Walls of Jerusalem. And it came to me that a watchman is always supposed to be vigilant, alert, always alive to what is happening, and is always supposed to warn people when there's danger. Someone like a tongue crier. And I felt the name, The Watchman, best summed up what I wanted to do in Calypso.
Where did you get the idea for Airborne One?
Well, actually, I was sitting in a restaurant, and there was this guy there, and he told me, he said that, you remember the man in the sky, fellow Airborne One, who was fly over every morning? He said, yes, that's a good topic for a Calypso. I said, well, yes. Why don't make a topic and sing it? He said, well, I do sing Calypsos, but I'm giving you the idea. And I went home and I thought about it really. And I felt that, it was a really good idea for a Calypso. So I had now to make lyrics and make a melody and make a song. And after some thought, after a day or two, it came to me, I got the hook line first. Watchman calling Airborne One, tell me what is the position, and the song went from there.
Every day I see the airborne man flying over the whole island. And if traffic or weather bad for so, he just tell people where to go. I decide that I ain't going nowhere until he gives the all clear. But the reports that he given me of late, like a bound to have a long wait. Watchman calling Airborne One, tell me what is the position?
And I did it, of course, for better or for worse. Why I did 2 new Calypsos was because I wanted to deal with the question of whether it was a fluke or not. Because some people feel that it was a fluke. So rather than expecting me to come with the same
Boots and Brains
and Gun Religion, I came with 2 new songs to show that I can make other material. And it was no fluke.
I sure you feel that I must be real crazy to encourage my wife in horning me. I sure to see some of them calypsonian lining up to try a thing at my woman. Marriage is a contract of give and take, and as human beings we all make mistakes. But show respect for matrimony, and we won't have our next Adam's tragedy. Cause all men like to play around, but just get real mad if they get off fun. But if the dog just stray, then the cat will play. And women sing as who feel this me, and the street woman like a piece of meat. If you love your life, let us take advice. I don't say I'm not shooting the woman, but I can't say the same for the other man. You could see that I have a gun at home.
I try to focus my attacks in specific directions. If I'm attacking you, Alvin Daniell, for something you did, everyone will know that you get in the attack, not your wife, not your children. So they can still and even laugh at you because they know the attack doesn't spread to them.
Correct.
So I try to make sure if I'm attacking, let's say, an East Indian person, I then know that that specific man over a specific thing that he did, so that other East Indians in the audience don't have to feel offended,
right,
or other Caucasians don't feel offended by what I'm saying about that particular person. So I try to focus my thing, so I try to specialize rather than generalize, because there are dangers in generalizations, because people who you don't intend to hurt may sometimes be hurt. You know, so if I feel that Rambachan does something, or Robinson does something, you know, or Manning does something, I'm going to call their names and let people know that the attack is on them.
And you can support the attack.
Of course you can support the attack. And then that's the basic problem why it's difficult to deal with me. Because I deal with facts that is sometimes irrefutable. Or if it's rumor, I twist it in a way that people know it's rumor, but yet still you know you're getting the blow underneath.
Welcome to the grounds of the University of the West Indies, where Wayne Head, the Watchman, earned a BA in History and Politics, and where he has completed 2 years of his law degree, just 1 more year to go for his LLB. We'll be talking to Watchman now about his life on campus. The last time we spoke, we talked a little bit about your life in the police service. Tell us something now about your association with UWI and your education here.
Well, I think that UE is very rarely developed. You see, I am not a product of the secondary school system. I failed common entrance, and I went through the primary school system, and I entered the police service in 1975 with a school living certificate. But I always felt that I had the intelligence and the aptitude to study, and once I went on a course, and one of the lecturers told me I should study. So I entered some evening classes, and I did my O-levels and did my A-levels, and before you knew it, I was at the university.
You had a little hiccup in the 4th verse of We Ain't Arrived As Yet. Yes. Tell us how it happened, why it happened, and how did you deal with it? Well,
I was singing and my mouth got very dry. And I remember thinking, you know, maybe I should lick my lips. And in that very instant, the line came up. And I realized that I couldn't remember the line. But I didn't panic, I just go back to the top and sang a line as sung before.
Is it possible for you to either recite or even sing the 4th verse of that calypso as it should have come down, so people can understand how you intended to wrap up this calypso on that night?
All right, it was don't tell me about no white man or Indian, Chinese or African, cause as man I know already about all the colors, races and cultures that exist in TNT. Once we build in a nation, them things shouldn't matter again. And if you want my opinion, no boat, let me tell you plain. We are known anywhere you go as the land of the Calypso, but other races refuse to sing because they just call it a nigger thing. And many Africans just make me shame. They can't pronounce an East Indian name. Announcers will fumble Ram Charita, but at ease with Gargano and Nafziga.
The Chinese and Syrians have the money, so they marry to themselves and their family. So it's Abu to Sabga and back again. Just know all of them will have the same name. It matters not what how you reach on the beach, but what you contribute to here since you reach. If we could only shake ourselves from the past, it's only then that all of we will arrive at last.
I think this was a nice verse to wrap up the calypso and round off what you were saying in the earlier verses.
Well, I did the second part, of course, you know, in the calypso itself.
Correct.
The problem with the calypso is that it didn't have the high level of bacchanalia that is associated with some of my other calypsos. And when you sing in Attack with Full Force in another rung, it tends to detract from more intellectual type calypsos.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Attack with Full Force. You're a policeman, you were involved in the coup July 27th. Where were you on that day?
Well, in
the fateful series of days.
Well, initially, at the time I was on suspension. And on that very day, my suspension was supposed to have been lifted because the matter was withdrawn by the state and I was free to go back to the service. And I was in headquarters up to about 5 p.m. But I had to go to watch football in the stadium. So I left and I went to the stadium, and whilst there, the entire thing, turned on mass.
Cause I hear as soon as the trousers fall, all the big boys in there turned out to be small. So who begs for begs? Tell the boss he lost. But once they maintain that cost, then I'm attacking them with full force.
So what actually triggered the topic attack with full force in your mind to turn it into a calypso?
There's two things. Of course, there's the Prime Minister's statement, attack with full force. And then people were telling me, boy, the coup. But I know you're afraid to sing on it because either the government will get you, the Muslims will get you, or the police will get you. So you better hush your mouth if you know what's good for you, And then the term, hush your mouth and those things just came. And then I added, question of attack with full force because it blended nicely with my personality and image on the stage. And then I saw these ninja pictures with the fellas with the mask, and they look so much like the soldiers
on that day.
On that, yes, and when at the during that period, the soldiers were there, armed and in mask and so on, and they looked so formidable, so intimidating, that I felt that this was it, attack with full force.
Some call me a rabble-rouser, others say I'm just a crusader, but people will only call me the friend once I sing nothing about them. So I expect the guardian and mirror to assassinate my character. Mills and Shaw go retaliate, cause them like to give but they cannot take. And I expect that the opposition might want to invite me to all the function. Well, after they hear what I have this year, nobody going to invite me anywhere. Boy, hush your mouth and don't say a thing. Manning and the boys might be listening. Well, if the party really kick out Robbie as leader, then Manning should hand over to Erica. And I see them thieving old Zandoli. Don't start making sweet eye at the treasury. So I'm not going to jump on any bandwagon and hug up and kiss up like Selvin Ryan. If they feel that they're getting ease up from me, that and Clive Banton girlfriend they'll never see.
You started in 1988, but yet every tune that you have made so far has had some sort of impact. And the year we haven't discussed so far, the year of positive vibrations. Tell us a little bit about how you developed into that year, because I know it's a year you felt you would have made it to the final.
Yeah.
You didn't quite make it.
I made it to the final that year.
Oh yes, that was the year after.
Yes. Airborne one I did not make it.
Airborne one is the year you didn't make it, but you made it with positive vibrations.
Yes.
What extra did you do that year to help you get into the finals?
Well, I was at singing in San Fernando one time, singing Airborne 1, and there were some people in the front of the audience who probably didn't like what I was singing. And a couple of them started to boo. And you had Joni and the Brigade at the front of the stage, and they started to pong bottles and say, "Sing, Watchman, sing," "Sing, Watchman, sing." And while I was singing, that line just stuck in my head. So when I went home, I said, that reflected how people felt generally. And I should sing, so therefore, sing. Sing, Mr. Watchman, sing.
Singing to we show everybody that this year you're singing positively.
And then people said, that you are always a critic. Your songs are always critical, negative. Why don't you sing a nation-building song? So I said, okay, I'm going to sing something for the nation, So I have a duty to my country. Yes, I'm positive. So it's a positive, and of course, positive vibrations, it's supposed to lend the whole atmosphere of, hey, let's get up and get.
And I'm sure now that Flash Gordon resign, the party will buy a mop. He said the mess that blinking Joker leave behind is them have to clean it up. They say the sour face that Gordon had, he run every tourist from Trinidad, but he leave we in the comments because he jump off the boat and take the express.
You had, in fact, a double-barreled set of tunes that year. Your other tune, No Heroes, you were getting just as many callbacks in the tent as you were getting for Positive Vibrations. Tell us about No Heroes.
That was a reaction to the fact that many people who we consider heroes kept making serious mistakes and errors, which made the whole hero worshipping seem a little, insecure for a lot of people. And I was focused on the fact that maybe we call people heroes too quickly, and we don't wait to see what will develop with them a little later on. And I focused on more or less fallen heroes.
Yes, I remember when Claude Noel won a world boxing crown. Yes, I remember. He was treated to a massive hero's welcome. He lost his crown and that was disaster. He turned to a life of crime shortly after. Some claimed his hasty descent was because boxers not too intelligent. But a well-schooled politician made a punching bag of a young woman. Sanderson and Claude equally to blame. When I say it, they have no heroes again.
What have been some of your frustrations over the last few years that stand out in your mind?
Well, I think not so much in Calypso. I think I did very well in Calypso. Of course, in the job, I think that as any ambitious young man, who have qualified himself, I would like to be elevated. I would like to go forward in my job because I think I have a contribution to make, and I'm very competent in what I do. Unfortunately, the people in whose hands those powers lie have not seen it in quite the same way. I'm able to counter those frustrations, of course, by my other activities. And it's important for a person to develop that balance, to have something else to fall back on, so that when one door is closed, another is open. And you can do it without drugs, without drink. I don't smoke, I don't gamble. And once you have a positive attitude and you really want to succeed in anything, it's important that you forget, but you remember at the same time, I'm sticking with them. I'm not leaving the service. I'm not leaving it for them. I'm continuing to work and continue to sing hard calypsos and continue to lead people if they want me to lead, and continue to be honest, and at least straightforward, so that you could say, well, yes, I'm consistent. I want to be consistent about what I do. That's important for me.
The Watchman, Wayne Haid, at his seat of learning, the UWI, on Calypso Showcase.
Somebody get rubber, somebody dead. Tune into my radio or my TV. Regret I'm awake immediately. Why is it the only news I just get is war, crime, destruction or death? I swear that if the nonsense don't stop, I'm going back to sleep and never wake up. So tell me something good. My brothers in Africa, stop slaughtering each other. Tell me something good. The struggle for oil will cease and bring peace to the Middle East. Tell me something good. They end the hostility, so this will be just a song, not a eulogy. Don't tell me about no white man or Indian, Chinese or African, cause as man I know already about all the colors, races and cultures that exist in TNT. Once we build in a nation, them things should matter again. And if you want my opinion, no vote, let me tell you, play.